you?
Same here.
Are you used to all these Zoom meetings just like we are?
I'm doing about 5 or 6 a week, and that has nothing to do with family. It's like all business. So,
Yeah.
everybody has kind of converted the mentality, and it's
Mhm.
the new norm for now, but that'll change. But it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, this is our 20th meeting, so welcome to our 20th meeting, and we will hopefully not bore you too much for the next half hour or so, and then we'll bring you on. Is
Good.
that
I've got some
okay?
great stuff, so I
Oh,
can't really, I really can't wait, but I want to hear what's going on. I'm going to mute myself.
okay. Thank you so much. So good morning, everyone. Looks like it's 9:01, so let's get going. Obviously, those of you that are already on the call and previous to this know that Barry is our guest speaker for today, so we're looking forward to that for sure. Um, I am wondering if Michaela, is she on? Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, hi, Michaela. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find you myself. So Michaela has joined Village Properties. She is a fairly new licensee. And if she's on the call, or
she's
she
on
can't.
the call, but I don't see that Michaela's got microphone.
Okay. All right.
So, Michaela, can you turn on your microphone? No, I don't think you have a microphone, right?
Okay, no worries. Well, I'll do my best here with Michaela. She is a delightful young woman who recently graduated from UCLA. She is from Santa Barbara. She's currently living in Carpinteria, and did a little bit of internship down in the Los Angeles area with the agency, and decided to obviously she said she's always loved real estate. Joined Village Properties, and we're very excited to have her as part of the team. She will be mentored by Natalie, so obviously working a little bit more maybe out of the Montecito office, but as we hopefully open up here soon, we'll be visiting all of our offices again in the near future. So anyway, welcome, Michaela. Hope you can at least hear us. So I'm sure you can at least hear me. And if there's any additional little things you want to say, you can put it in the chat if you'd like, and we can read about it. So anyway, welcome, Michaela. So I thought I would get started. First of all, I sent you the CAR report, the important things that are actually.
Find lizard, lift the chest.
There you are.
And then talking.
Sorry about that.
Hi, that's okay. Do you want to just say a little bit about you? I don't know if you heard what I said, which wasn't, I hope was correct, but go right ahead and say a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Michaela. I was born and raised here in Santa Barbara, actually, and I moved back last year after graduating from UCLA, and I've always wanted to be in real estate, so I'm so thrilled and honored to be part of Village. And I guess if you have any pointers for a newbie like me starting off during this time, I'm all ears. So thanks for your welcoming, and I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm glad you got to chat with us. Thank you, Michaela. Okay, so let's get on to, like I said, I had sent you off the important links for CAR. So, as I said in my email, I think those are the kinds of things that are great to put into a folder for future reference, because sometimes even myself, when I go into CAR and I'm hunting for something like a Q&A or whatever, it's hard to find sometimes unless you have the, you know exactly how they've posted it. on the site. So, so I thought a lot of those were very, very helpful, especially on the multiple offers, or I'm sorry, on the accelerated offers that we're starting to see with the multiple offers. So anyway, so hold on to those. So I'm gonna start out with the chamber report, which I did send you a little outline of, and I just wanted to. I did notice that Melissa James, who is at the very beginning of this, is with Reach. I see that she's going to be presenting to the county soon on their goals. And so we got a little bit of a head start on that. And I really was impressed with her. She seems to have a real handle on what needs to happen in our region to keep young people in Santa Barbara, rather than to start seeing again this huge diversity of, you know, the very young and the very old, or more old than young. And so they're really working hard. Like I said, they're looking to create 15,000 jobs by 2030 and have those salaries 50,000 or more, which I think is great. And then what you can read here about the job losses because of COVID, and we've read about that. But I thought what was exciting is that, and we'll hear more about this, is their global partnership with Vandenberg. And with that, they're really looking to finding young people coming out of school that have or encouraging young people to go into, obviously tech and ag tech, aerospace, and then the defense, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I know there'll be more. She didn't elaborate on exactly the details of what their partnership with Vandenberg is, but it sounds like something, that is good for our region for sure. And then Kristen McLaughlin from Cox, she spoke about, they have technology, obviously, and all these technology companies have just grown tremendously, and Cox has too. I mean, she said just within a few months they have grown 18 months worth of what they typically would, and that, to me, that sounds like dollar signs too. So good for them. And so right now they are providing 2 months of free internet to children or families that cannot afford it, but then they're looking for private donors after that. So I'm sure we'll get plenty of information about that as time goes on. And then the other speaker that on Friday, which, Barry's probably going to touch a little more on this in regards to, a lot of anxiety and things that people are experiencing during COVID, and, that we're really needing to pay attention to the children. Apparently the 18 to 24-year age is a vulnerable age because they're used to, their social, gatherings and things like that. And I did read that that's probably where we're having the most difficulty right now. And so now the county looks like they're going to mandate some fines for not wearing a mask and for large gatherings, which is disappointing, but I think we'll start seeing more and more of that. And then, this is something maybe you could pass on to your clients who have young children, just about how to, how they're reacting to COVID really reflects how their children are going to react to it as well. So I just found all of that so interesting, mainly because of our Teachers Fund and how we're trying to help our teachers teach these children during this time. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you. So what I didn't send you on the CAR report, which I'll just talk briefly about because we're going to have, do you remember Ginny Field? She came to Village It was earlier this year, and she talked to us about the buyer representation agreement and how we should be using that. And I know that's been a little bit more difficult, and maybe not. Well, not. I'm not saying it's not necessary. I think this is, and we've talked about this before. This is a good time to start using that because we have a better excuse to use it because of COVID. Anyway, the BIE, which is the buyer election inspection election, Gov is encouraging us to use it. They're seeing a lot of lawsuits lately coming out of that where, well, as my example says, my agent didn't suggest that I get a soils report. Now I've got this mess, and I should have gotten a soils report, just as an example. So when you use that form, then they can look at it and they can decide, yes, I'm going to do this report, that report. Oh no, I don't care about having a survey, and then you're covered because it was offered. And it's a great form to use. So we're going to have Jenny come back on a Zoom meeting and talk about the BIE, the BIW, which is the waiver, and then the DIA, which now I'm forgetting. What is that one? I forget what that one is, Leanne. It's the new
it's the disclosures information addendum for sellers. It's the new one that came out in June.
It's the new one for sellers. So anyway, so we're going to have Jenny next week talk to us about that. So that'll be great. And then so we recently had a situation where the CVA was presented. I think I mentioned this to you, to the seller, and the seller signed it at the time of the purchase agreement written, and and they all signed it, but there were no boxes checked. So then when the buyer couldn't perform, he decided to bring that form to surface and said, oh, look, I get an extra 30 days because I have this COVID, this CVA that was signed by both parties, but none of the boxes were checked. So I just wanted to get perfect clarification from Gov. So I made sure that question went in, and he did answer it this week. And he said it's irrelevant. The form means nothing if a box is not checked. So just so you know, if that comes to you. And if anybody has any questions about the CVA, let me know. It's sort of a Gov says this lately a lot. He's saying he doesn't know what the outcome's going to be if somebody holds up an escrow or decides that it's COVID related, or tries to use COVID as an excuse for holding up an escrow. He feels that the courts are going to be the ones to decide that down the line, and I guess they're opening in September, so I'm sure they're going to be inundated. And then I think some of you might have emailed me about this. That new, there's a big surprise in regards to the 0.5% that Fannie and Freddie decided to impose on lenders, and then in turn, the lenders are imposing it on the borrower. So I think that that one is probably kind of in limbo. NAR is fighting it, CAR is fighting it. This was just, something that was just thrown out there and without any, forewarning or at all. So more news on that. But I did get from Greg Knowles over at Draper and Kramer. I don't know if you all got this, but I did get an email from him. And if you go in and click on where he asks to contact our lawmakers, you can fill out on the right-hand side. I just changed the word lender to realtor, and I sent it on. I didn't even write my own new one. I just did that in it, and so I feel like at least I've done my part to object to it. So far, it's for refis, but Gov said he wouldn't be surprised if they push it on to purchases as well. So anyway, all right, so that's my CAR report. So let's go
Renee,
on. Yes.
Renee, Natalie had a question on the CVA, so maybe while we were talking about it, she
Sure.
said, so should sellers even sign the CVA even if the boxes aren't checked? Seems to me it would be a better practice to not sign it.
Yes, that well, we can't tell a seller what to do, of course, but you know, I think the best explanation to the seller would be, you know, listen, you know, I know you're probably going to be reasonable if something comes up regarding COVID, but if you sign this, then you are definitely obligated for 30 days or more or less. You can put in less days, obviously, in there too. But I think with doing that, you know, you don't know what the seller's situation is going to be like at that point. So to sign something like that for future possibility is probably not a great idea. And so, yeah, I agree with you, Natalie. You know, you give them their options, but I think it's something that could even be signed later. I mean, it can be signed later for sure.
So real quick, if it's okay, I just want to make it real clear because this is a question I'm getting a lot. If you receive a CVA and you're representing the seller and there's no boxes checked, it seems to me that if the seller doesn't want this as part of the agreement, it would make more sense not to sign it because clearly this recent deal had major confusion because the seller had signed a form that had no boxes checked. So I just want to have a Village Properties policy moving forward so that our agents are clear on what they're doing. So that was more my question, is if you receive a CVA that has no boxes checked.
It means nothing unless the seller wants to check some boxes, but if he does, then he's got to send it back to the buyer for re-signature. So yeah, it's irrelevant. The form means nothing without a box checked.
Right. So moving forward, should agents at Village just not have their seller sign it so there's no future confusion from the buyer's agent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be helpful. That would be helpful because I ended up going from Mona to Gov. Yes, it was confusing because the other side thought it was a gray area and thought the 30 days would come into play. So yes, that's a good policy. Don't sign it. Yeah. Thank you, Nat. All right. So let's go to our agenda and we will, it looks like we missed a few of you, so I will make sure I put them in here. As Chris said, I think you need to put them into the, you know, you have to put them into the hub or something. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure you all know how to do that so that they get on the agenda. But first, I want to thank our Teachers Fund donations from Amy Abbott, Ruth Ann, Cindy, Kristen, Deja, and Chris Salvetti. Thank you all so much for your donations. We really appreciate that. And, you know, for sure, next week, we're going to have Brianna on to talk about the fundraiser that we have going on. So we'll have Bree do that next week for sure. All right, and so let's start with our agenda, our new listings, and we will, or you unmute yourself if you have a new listing. Looks like Aaron Gillis has a new listing at 607 Bass Street, 925. No, Aaron? Okay.
No, he's not.
Check with Aaron on that. Randy or Molly, are you on with 1200 North San Marcos?
Hi, yes, it's Molly.
Hi, Molly.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I shared my screen with just a photo of one of our photos, but we're really excited to introduce Rancho Vista de Playa. It's located at 1200 North San Marcos Road. It's in Santa Barbara. It's a really unique property. We're listing it at $8,499,000 and offering 3% to the selling agent. So it's really one of a kind. We have 14 acres, almost 14 acres, 13.79. It has a 360-degree ocean and mountain views. It's a gated compound with 2 single-family homes. One of them, we're calling it the main home, is 4,077 square feet, and the second home is 2,500 square feet, roughly. Okay, so the current owner is living in one of the homes, and he's using the second home as an income-producing vehicle, and he has an established list of corporate clientele that he rents it out to. And if you want the financials on them, it's very impressive. So as far as the grounds goes, it has a beautiful pool, two pool cabanas, a full changing room with a full bathroom, a putting green, and then it's surrounded by charming fountains and fire pits throughout. And then for your equestrian clientele, we have a horse stable with 20 stalls, a riding arena, and a grazing field. Mature landscaping, and he has imported these ancient cycad trees. There's palm trees, a producing orchard, and it's all supported by 2 water wells. So it's really private, it's secluded, it's everything all these out-of-town buyers are looking for, and it's a short trip down to Santa Barbara. So anyone looking for that kind of a compound, definitely show it to them. Right now we have it as coming soon. It's a big property, so we're getting it ready for professional photos. We'll have them soon, and then we'll probably go active at that point, but we're definitely ready to show it. So anyway,
Perfect.
take a look at it.
Okay, thank you, Molly.
You're welcome.
Risk and Partners have a new listing at 701 Park Lane. Is anybody on the call from Risk and Partners? Okay, check with them. Diane and Brianna, Vista Vallejo.
Hi.
Hi.
So it is a duplex in the Vieja Valley School District. It's currently a 3-1. The 3rd bedroom is opened up right now and used as kind of a den office, and a 1-1 on the other side. So we'll have more details and pricing to follow, but please keep it within Village for now.
Okay, okay. And Bria, I understand you were supposed to talk today about the Teachers Fund. So let's see how much time we have. And
Okay, yeah,
not,
no problem.
are you okay with next week?
Totally fine.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so we also have a new listing from the Haggerty team. Is Ian or Carolyn on the call?
Yeah.
Hi, Renee.
Hey, Ian. Hi.
Hi. So 771 La Rota. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, about just under 1,800 square feet. It'll be priced at $975, and it should be going into MLS later today or tomorrow morning.
Okay. Do you want to talk
Renee,
about?
oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Angel has a new listing. She just messaged me. She wants to talk about as well. Sorry.
Okay, sounds good. I was just going to ask Ian, did you want to talk about your listing that's coming up, or do you want to just send that out in email?
Can you hear
Ian?
me? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I have another listing coming up in Hidden Valley, but that's not going to be ready to till Friday or so.
Okay. All right. You'll let us know. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Angel, did you want to talk about your new listing?
Hi, everyone. About a month ago, we talked about 836 Via Cavello, and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's in the Parkhurst community. The HOAs are super low. They're like 210-ish or something. There's a pool, there's tennis courts. This specific property, it's single story, and the backyard faces the golf course. So it's really private and remote. It's in the little cul-de-sac back there. And we're going on coming soon today. We are unsure about price, but it's under $1 million. So that's exciting. And we'll go live next weekend.
Perfect. Thank you, Angel. And then we have, is Jenna or Vicky on the call with a new listing on Macaw?
Jenna is.
Jenna?
I'm here. My video's not working, so I apologize. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Yeah, we have a, it's actually exclusive right now. 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo overlooking San Roque, essentially. It's on Macaw, 3340 Macaw, number 206. Gated parking and access is security access. It's really quite lovely, has a beautiful view. And we're not coming on. The tenant who is, or not tenant, the owner is there and she's quite elderly. So we're going to wait until she's gone back to her home in Palm Springs and then we'll bring it on for showings.
Okay. And did you give us a price?
I'm sorry. Shoot, I've drawn a blank.
710?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks. I have to pull out the file, quite honestly. Isn't that terrible? Yeah.
That just came to me, Jenna. You know, I'm psychic. No.
Well done.
Okay. All right. Anyone else with a new listing that we missed?
Right. Somebody's
Somebody's playing with the Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ron Madden was sharing his screen with us for some reason.
Oh, okay. Sometimes you hit the wrong button there. Okay, so we have some price changes. Looks like Janae has a price reduction on North Refugio. Tim, Los Alturas, do you want to talk about it? Yep, or yep. Yes?
Hi, everybody. So 665 Los Alturas, we dropped it 3% down to 2925. It's less than what we had it in escrow for a month ago. My clients are motivated. I'll have a $100 drawing on Thursday. I've tried doing the thing through Hub, through MailChimp. So I'm going to do it directly through MLS and see if I get more people than the usual 5 or 6 that come. And also 52 Olive Mill with Lila and I, $2,095,000. We spent $500,000 redoing this property. It's the cleanest, most chic move-in property you're going to find under, I'm saying under $3 million that close to the water. There's nothing else like it. And the fees are only $600. Keep in mind, Montecito Shores is getting towards $1,100. So, right. You know, our fees are reasonable, 2-car garage, call us to show it, super easy. And tune in on Wednesday for more information, for more stuff.
Okay, thank you, Tim. All right, and here are our sales for the week. Looks like we had quite a few multiple offers on them. Congratulations to the Monzo Loft, on Armidos, Carrie Kendall on Brinkerhoff, Amy Baird on Kuna, Jim Whitmer on Emerson, Crawford Spire on Eucalyptus Avenue, Bill Reed on Gateway, Simi on Hollister, Wayne, Diane, and Brianna on Layden, Jane on East Mason, Ed and Mary Lou on East Mitchell Terrena, Devon on Miradero, Riskin Partners on Riven Rock, Susan and Brian on State Street, number 11, and John on Sycamore Canyon, John Sainer, Sycamore Canyon, wow, that's a nice one too. Grub Campbell on 736 Coral Canyon, Michelle, Ken, and Carrie out in the valley on Valley Oak Road. So congratulations to all those sales this week. Did we miss any sales?
I have one. Thomas and Darcy have one. Renee.
Thomas, hi Thomas.
4408 Catlin Circle in Carpinteria. One offer.
Okay. Oh, you're right. And then Julie, Julie also had a sale at 580 Toro Canyon Park, asking $5,500,000. No multiple offers on that. Let's see. I think I covered everybody.
I have one, Renee.
Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla.
Yeah, hi. It's out of the area. 671,900 on 10924 Jericho Way in San Diego.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So
Renee, one more.
hi, Elizabeth.
My
Hi.
4643 Carpinteria Avenue closed, and I'd like to thank Thomas Minahan and James Sanchez for bringing the buyers. I think there were 4 offers, and it closed on Friday for $710,000.
Oh, okay. So it belongs in both categories? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
One more.
Congratulations to all of you.
Greg's got one.
Hi, Greg.
Hello. 1347 Trieste, Dan Ensel's listing in Carpinteria, only 1 offer.
What was the asking?
Oh gosh. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
Like $1.2 million-ish.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Greg. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Here are closings for the week.
Sorry, I have one more as well.
Oh, okay.
John Sainer and I.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. John Sainer and I on 3040 Foothill Road. We're on both sides, and 1 offer.
Yeah, a good one. Thank you, Alyssa. Congratulations.
Of course. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so here are closings for the week. As I was saying, another amazing week. So thank you all. Aaron Gillis on Baldwin, Greg on Kai Esperanza, Carrie and the Riskin team, both sides of Calzada, David and Devin on West Camino Cielo, Cindy, Kristen, and Amy on Camino del Rey, Randy and Molly on Cantera. Congratulations. Did you want to say something, Cindy? I see you.
I just want to say Kristen and Amy did a phenomenal job grabbing onto the coming soon, representing their buyer remotely, who never physically saw the property other than FaceTime. Once they did see it, they were very thrilled with the job the girls did.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. That's great, Cindy. Thank you so much. It's always nice to hear that when we work together well, and we know we do. So congratulations to Randy and Molly on Cantera. Wonderful sale there as well. Elizabeth just talked about Carpinteria Avenue with Thomas Minahan and James. Congratulations to the 3 of you. David and Devin on West Constance, Wayne Natali on Fredensborg Canyon. Congratulations, Wayne. The Monzo Loft and on La Buena Tierra. Leslie and Aaron on Olive Street. John and Chris Salvetti on the other Olive Street. Wonderful. Marcy on Plaza de Sonadores. Michelle Glass in the Valley, North Refugio. David and Devin again on State Street. Deja and Ruth Ann on Stonebrook. Congratulations. Let's see, Daniel Warner's on Villa Real. Amy Baird on Vanderbilt Court. Lynn Golden on Valley Dairy. David and Devin again on Vereda del Ciervo. That's why I love David's hair. Is he on the call? Okay, then don't tell him I said this, but I love his hair, but he's been too busy to get it cut. Anyway, and you can see why. They've been busy. They truly have. And then Carol on Walnut Park. So congratulations to everyone. Great week. And Jackie, do you want to do our stats real quick, and then we'll go over our education, our training rather, right after that.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so here are the stats for the past week. 6 coming soons, 65 new listings, 26 price changes. Now here's the record for the year, probably going back 12 months maybe. 76 pendings last week. 776. Yeah. So, you know, if we're in the 50s, that's a very active market. 60s, rate. In the 70s, what can I say? We're going to sell everything. There'll be nothing left. 76 pendings, 27 under $1 million, 27 1 to 2 million, 14 2 to 4 million, 6 4 to 8 million, and 2 over 8 million pending. The high price pending is suiting Murphy's listing 851 Buena Vista, list price 13.5. That came on in 2017 for 20 million. So reduced down and now pending. Closed 55, closed. Another great number. 19 under $1 million, 22 1 to 2 million, 12 2 to 4, and 2 4 to 8. The high price closed. Cantera 1564 Cantera. List price 6,695, closed at 6,650. 5 days on market. 5,000.
Is that?
Oh, yeah. I think so. I think Hayden sold it.
Yeah, yes. yeah. So Molly and Randy. Yeah,
yep.
Wonderful. Okay.
And okay on that. And then expired 5, canceled 5, withdrawn 3, and 16 back on the market, which is not that many considering the number of pendings. Total right. 16 is not a huge number. And just one quick thing. In MLS, you know, we can have the privacy listing where there's no address and no APN, I believe. I didn't know where those were. So I found them the other day. And when you do a quick search and you can select rental, you can select residential, you can select land. If you scroll down, I think it's number 7 is privacy. So that's where they are. And right now there are just 4 in there. So just an FYI.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank you, Jackie. I'm not sure I would have thought. So it's number 7. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. In that initial quick search pull down. Yeah.
Right. So just because you're talking about that, so the only way to get to rentals is to pull down the menu and find full search, right? For rentals.
Well, a quick search you can do rentals.
You can? Okay. Okay, I'll try it. I'll try that too. Thank you, Jackie. Okay, Leanne, do you want to talk about the training this coming week?
Sure.
And then maybe just a touch on Ginny next week.
Sure. So Tuesday night, everyone at the Montecito office, we're having a deep clean. So if you haven't been into your office for weeks and weeks and you think that you've left things sitting on the floor or on your desk, we'd love it if you came in before Tuesday night and just picked them up and, you know, just made it easier for the cleaner. That's just the Montecito office. Tuesday, we have Terry Johnson going to be speaking to us for about half an hour. And she is offering this coming year, starting first week, second week in September, a fantastic coaching opportunity. It's going to run for an entire year. And she's going to do a coaching twice a month, a 90-minute coaching in a very small group. I sent out an email with the information. I'll send it out again today. You can actually see the days and the times that she's proposing. If you're thinking about being coached, this is a great opportunity. I think it was $250 a coaching session, which is an amazing price. And she's going to really hold you accountable. It's all about accountability. She's going to have required reading. It's going to be awesome. So she's going to be coming on tomorrow at 10:30 to just talk about it and present it. So if you have any interest at all, please log on tomorrow and I'll send out the link again and talk with Terry about the opportunity. There's also Tuesday's tips with the association at noon, and that's about awareness and protection. And then at 1, there's a luxury portfolio, making the most of the benefits for luxury portfolio. So if you have not sort of been using luxury portfolio, or if you're fairly new and you're not really so sure about what that's all about, please go on to that. And all these links are in the email that goes out on Friday at 9. So go back and look for that email for the training and events calendar. And then at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, there's something on Learn How Prop 21 will affect the rental community. Unfortunately, the link they sent us for that is an old link for a webinar that's passed, and I've emailed them twice and haven't got a new link. But contact the Rental Property Association to find out about that, because that's really worth being involved with. On Wednesday at 8 o'clock, there's something by Flex on the full CMA. At 10 o'clock, we've got the DIRT meeting with our wonderful Tim. Gosh, we have a busy week. Thursday at 10, I'm going to be doing the ninja class. And then just to remind you all, September 15th, it's not that far away now, is the sexual harassment training that we're required to take. And it's only that one day right now. And we are not allowed to record it. You have to physically attend. And it's either 10 to 11 on Tuesday the 15th or 1 to 2. So please put it in your calendar, whichever time suits you, and we'll be sending out a reminder. And then finally, the Teachers Fund, just a reminder that our supplies drive is coming up between September 16th to October 16th. We send out an email, Renee sent out an email on Thursday or Friday about it. We really want you to participate, but we'll give Brianna some time to talk about that next week, right, Renee?
Yes, for sure. Top of the list.
Yes.
Okay, so unless you see something, maybe what we can do is, if there's something in chat, maybe Leanne, you can just write it down if it's a question or something. I can get back to them or whoever.
Yeah, we will.
After the fact, so that we don't, so that we can bring on Barry. So many of you have had the opportunity to hear Barry over the years. He's been coming to our meetings for many, many years, and always wonderful, information, wonderful inspirational talks that Barry has given us over the years. And many of us are followers of Barry. And anyway, we all do appreciate him, and we thank him for volunteering to speak to us again. So Barry, it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm not going to name all the people that I know, because I know I'd leave somebody out, but I've got some old friends there from a long time. And are we good to go? Let me just get a clearance from you. Am I good for like 30, 35 minutes so that people can understand? Because there's a payoff at the end as well. Is that a good amount of time?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. For those that don't know me, let me give you the short form as to a background as to where I come from. You probably saw the promo. I'm going to fill it in a little bit and then give you some real specific things that I have never done in office meetings in the past with you guys, because these are different times and they really call for different focuses and emphasis. And I have the background to do that, and I'd love to share what I have. So it all comes from neuroscience. And that's the study of the brain and the nervous system and how it functions, and that we don't make psychological decisions in our lives, we make biochemical ones. Well, this was all foreign to me when I was growing up. The short form of the background is I was a student athlete when I was in high school and college, and I played semi-pro baseball for 5 years. Around 1964, I was introduced to a coach. I played in the tri-state area, back east, as we call back east, for those of you that are from back east, that's how you refer to it. And he introduced us to some mindset ideas. It It wasn't about our stance and balance and swing and follow through and all those things you get in any sport and any kind of coaching, which is relevant. But it had to do with the most important organ of the body when it comes to sport, and that's the brain, because it's the center of how you focus or don't focus, how you learn, how you don't learn. And this guy was pretty amazing. He helped me a lot. I had invitations to try out for the Dodgers and the Mets and the, not the Giants, but the Yankees in those times. But I wasn't good enough to make it at those levels. I didn't have the passion to do that. And when I was ill-equipped to do anything in the world beyond play baseball, I jumped back into my safety zone, which was back to school. And I took 2 master's programs, actually, one in neuroscience and another one also in is more sociology. Nonetheless, I came across some very interesting information that made my eyes really open up. And one had to do with hypnosis. I'm not going to talk about hypnosis much more in this talk. You've heard me talk about that if you've heard me before. But the point is, a man came in, he was introduced as a veteran from one of the, I think it was the Korean War, and his sleeve was pinned up to his shoulder. And he told the story that on the battlefield, he was bleeding out and a medic came across him still breathing, barely conscious. And the medic said, "We can save you, but you know, it's gonna either be your limb or your life. Do you wanna, should we pursue? We've got to take the arm off." And basically the soldier was kind of half in, half out, but the medic got his approval to do this. And he said, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to use hypnosis." I didn't use that as his first choice. It would have been, any other form of anesthesia, morphine preferably, but he was out of morphine, but he had a hacksaw. So he said, "You have to do exactly what I tell you to do. We're going to divert your mind because you can only process one thing at a time." And I didn't go through a whole tutorial, even as I did just now. Here's a guy who's bleeding out, basically conscious. But when he got the approval to at least try this, the medic proceeded to have this guy take his focus from his pained arm down to his feet. And he started a progressive relaxation. It's not a big deal. You've done this thing before. From the toes to the nose, you focus on those parts of the body and they relax because you have control over the autonomic as well as the sympathetic nervous systems and the parasympathetic systems using your mind. When you're in pain, you're an excellent hypnotic subject. The bottom line of the story, the guy's arm came off, the medic patched him up. He lived to tell the tale many times, and he was a speaker at various college and university events in the psych departments, especially at the advanced levels where they were teaching these kinds of things. It was a real impact to me. So when I graduated and got the degrees, I was still ill-prepared for the world, didn't know what I wanted to do, but baseball was in my wheelhouse still. So I went back, made some contacts, started working with pro athletes in a number of sports. And I've worked with some really cool people. And then they referred me to colleges and universities, and I worked with law school students to pass the bar exam. And now today, since 1972, I've worked with hundreds of thousands of people, mostly realtors, to improve quality of life. And most of the time that's business, getting more listings, scaling business up. I'm a one-on-one coach. I work with hypnosis to keep people focused on what their goals are. The accountability comes a whole lot easier in that case. But I do work with people in hacks that people can use to improve their health and the physical as well as their financial health. So you might have heard me do this in a shorter form at an office meeting. But for those of you who are uninitiated, let me share something with you and then proceed to give you 8 specific things that are so important that you may think about, but probably not in the weeds where I'm going to take you, because in the weeds is, the devil is in the details kind of thing. The details are really interesting and important and useful. But to start with, I'd like everybody, please, just take a deep breath of air in through your mouth and out through your mouth. Nicely done. Now, this time, I'd like you to take another deep breath in, but exclusively in through your nose and out through your nose. Okay, now the second way that you just took that breath in is infinitely more healthy. Do you know why? Well, you're on mute, so this is a rhetorical question, so let me answer my own question. One thing is, as you bring air in through your nose, you are passing by the sinus passageways. The sinus passageways, by studies, numerous studies, this is just hit science, dump about 50% or more oxygen into the air that eventually goes into your lungs. So you're breathing more efficiently if you breathe through the nose, and you can train yourself to do that more of the time. When you breathe in through the nose hairs, called cilia, act like the filter in your home. You're not just breathing outside air. The purpose is to, filter out the pollutants that are in the air, the particulates that are in the air, pollens, etc. Well, your nose hairs do the same thing. So a word to the wise is, when you're washing your hands, as we all are doing, and washing your face, pay attention to putting some soapy water inside your nostrils, because they are the repository of all kinds of crap that's hanging in the air. And in this day and age, you just don't know what's hanging in the air. So why not pay attention to it? It takes nothing to do. That's not my important reason that I'm getting to. Most people who have been tested to be nose breathers compared to mouth breathers have a tendency of bringing air deeper into the diaphragmatic area. You bring it deeper into the lungs. And what that does, it gently moves the organs in the gut around. That's a good thing. The more they are in movement, the more efficiently they work. The circulation works. Every organ needs to have some freestanding movement in order to be, and in fact, be massaged and work at its peak capacity. So that's an important reason to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can train yourself to do it. Just consciously, when you're aware of breathing through your mouth, breathe in through your nose instead. You'll change that behavior generally within a 2, 3, 4 week period of time if you're conscious about it. But those aren't the most important. Here's the important hack that will help you on a daily basis in your peak experiences. When you breathe in through the nose, you're creating vibration. The vibration is simply the air that is rushing up into the sinus passageways, friction. The friction creates a buzz on the skull in this portion of your facial mask. On the other side of your skull is the brain. It's the reason to have a skull. It encases, it protects the brain. So as the skull vibrates, so does the neocortex, which is directly on the inside of the brain and touching it. When you excite the brain cells, the neuron cells, they work better with cells around them through connective synapse. And the more brain cells you have engaged, the better opportunity you have of functioning at a higher level. Have you ever had a peak experience and you just knew it? Maybe you were playing more, just more instinctive tennis, or you played a better focused round of golf, or you gave a more be here now kind of presentation where you were just everything you needed to be. And it's one of those, those aha moments when you finish, or you read something and you're totally engrossed in it. You really grok, you really get the information that you're looking to get, or you're passing a test. We've had those life experiences. Some people on a daily basis, depends on how you live your life. But those peak experiences are also mirrored by those pit experiences. And all too often, we could have just phoned in the same kind of work. But to be special at those peak experiences mean that your brain is really focused, right? Mindset, be here now, be in the present. Words like that, they emerge because, it's the present day vernacular, but it's been talked about forever. Those people that come to play are generally the ones that will play better than those who are simply trained to play. Doesn't matter if you're in business or otherwise. So here's what you do with this little piece of information, not just file it away and say, oh, the guy was smart. It has nothing to do with that. But before you get into a presentation or anything that you consider to be important, it could be a conversation with a family member. It could be playing golf. It could be having sex. It could be writing a letter. It could be doing a gazillion things. Take the time. This whole thing will take about 10 seconds. Just breathe in and out through the nose, maybe 3 times or so. I say or so. It's not a fact. It's not a rule. Take a few deep breaths in and out. When you're doing that, you're automatically focusing because you're concentrating on your breathing. When the brain slows down from its busyness of overthinking, and that's what we do, that's how we generally screw things up. It's just not going with the flow. It's getting all these little details kind of sidetracking questions that we go off into the weeds about. So you take those few breaths, and because you're a better listener when your brain is more stilled, silently tell yourself how you're going to perform in the upcoming activity. In superlatives, I will give the best presentation, asking questions, listening well, speaking with authority, and closing assertively, remaining calm and relaxed throughout. Why not? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that can either take you up or down. A kid who has studied, who goes into a test with a defeatist attitude, who tells themselves, I can't do this, generally stress is going to build up, create bumps in the road in terms of accessing the memory of what that kid has studied. Some people don't test well. Some people don't perform well. It's performance anxiety. But if you do this little thing that I've already mentioned, you will probably hit your peak performance with greater consistency. And whether you get the deal or not, whether it happens in your favor or not, when you walk away feeling that you have really come to play, you have really done your best, you walk away feeling confident and good about yourself, right? Yes. Okay, so in a normal world, that's a good piece of information to have because you can step up your performance. These days, obviously, since the middle or so of March, things have changed. I'm pandering to the obvious. Things have changed, and even though you have gotten above it and you've recognized what this new norm is, and you've conformed to that.
Oops, what happened? Swap.
Am I still there? I'm going to go like that was not happening. Anyway, in this new norm, there are pressures that take place. Now, the pressures don't come from the world. Yes, there is COVID, and there are some really terrible stories we probably all know within at least 2 or 3 degrees of separation. With me, it's only 1 degree of separation, and they're horrific. But if you're not a victim, don't act like one. In this day and age, there is COVID, there is the political scene that is getting ratcheted up, and even more so to the beginning of November, and some say substantially after. There are lots of other things that go bump in the night that didn't quite go as big a bump in the night as before. Now, the stress is not in the world. I mean, get real about it. The world does what the world does. The world is what the world is. And frankly, the world doesn't care about you or me. But how we perceive those things through our filtration system, how our perceptions have been biased since birth, will either compel us to move forward, and that's the production of dopamine by the brain, seeing something compelling and you're open to it, or it's the production of cortisol. It really comes down to a chemistry lesson. So the cortisol has you stay back. It is one of our most primitive instincts, and it's been in the human system for 100, 200,000 years, and before humans were humans, millions of years before, because we were only prey on this earth when we came out of the primordial sludge and started developing any kind of nervous system, eventually the brain. So our first instinct is resistance, and that happens in milliseconds. So there's a lot of stress that we internalize without necessarily showing it. But when we're living in close proximity, when we don't do the things normally that we used to, it takes a toll on a lot of people, and for some people more than other people. And we find suicide preventions are up. Family abuse is up because we're just too much with people that we love, but 24/7, you're really kind of stretching at the seams. Homeschooling, there's so many things that really stretch a person out. So here are 8 things. They're not the only 8 things that will make a difference in your life, but they're 8 things that I think are really important to focus on as you're making not only positive adjustments now, but going forward and staying ahead of the curve when business opens up, social gatherings open up. It will happen. We don't know when. So while we're here, while we're now, here are some things that you might want to consider. So 1, in no particular order of importance, is to stay on as complete a schedule as you can, on as consistent a schedule as you can, day and night. Now, it's great to do things that stimulate you. You know, you take the walk, you take the horseback ride, you do the thing that's appropriate, you get the boat out, you do your stuff, you watch the sunset out at the beach, and all of those things, absolutely. But the brain does not like change. And when there are things that kind of shift here and there, it affects two systems within us. One is the lymph system, the other is the endocrine system. The lymph system happens basically when you're sleeping at night. Have a regular time that you're going to sleep. It doesn't have to be to the minute. This is not being hard and fast and militaristic, but around the same time, and wake up about the same time, because that will determine your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm, or the biorhythms, the ebb and flow of your body's energy, is it's a chemical thing. When you engage in your cycles of sleep, you're normally going to have 5 of them. They last about 90 minutes. So if you're sleeping a typical 7-8 hours per night, when your head hits the pillow and you fall asleep, if you are capable of doing that, and a lot of people are not, but I'll help you with that as we go. When your head hits the pillow and you fall asleep, about 75 minutes into that sleep pattern, you experience a REM sleep, right? That's your brain is producing an alpha brainwave rhythm, 7 to 14 cycles per second. That is when your brain, excuse me, triggers your lymph system. The lymph system is nodes all over your body that takes the toxins out of your system. When you eat, when you drink, when you're expending energy, all the carbon, nitrogen, all that stuff literally builds up in the nodes. In your REM sleep throughout the night, they literally dump that toxicity into your blood system. That's a good thing. And then you eliminate it in the course of your morning or the rest of your day. If you upset that balance, your lymph system doesn't work as efficiently, and you can build up toxicity that leads to brain fog, dementia, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes. There's all kinds of really nasty things aside from fatigue that you can put your finger on, and science has. This is not conjecture. So during the day, schedule your times. Obviously, if you're in real estate, your day is all over the place. But basically know when you're going to contact your sphere of influence, when you're going to have family time, and stick to it as much as you can, not just for your sanity, but for the sanity of people around you. Have you noticed, you guys with kids, that they like to have things that they can count on? Well, if you're a few years removed or many decades removed, you still count on that kind of consistency. It makes us feel that we're still attached and have some control of our lives. Think about it. If you're all over the place and just being very lackadaisical about when you wake up, when you go to sleep. Same thing, my number 2 is, again, no order of importance, but obviously real. Eat well. This is a time of year, at least we, and I'm sure a lot of people that I've spoken to, because I've heard the feedback and I've seen the heads nod on Zoom meetings. You know, you load up at Costco every 2 weeks so you don't have to go out a whole hell of a lot and make a lot of contact and breathe and all that stuff that's going on. And that's very real stuff. Don't mean to deny that at all. But when we do, we have a tendency of picking up foods that are comfort foods. It's the high processed foods, it's the high sugars, it's salts, it's those fats that preserve food, that make your brain say, ah. Now, it's good for your brain to go, ah, once in a while, but when that becomes the go-to, and it has for a lot of people, body weights have gone up over these last number of months. There are lots of studies have shown. And when you eat carelessly, you're really out of control. And you're looking for love in all the wrong places. The best diet, according to the neuroscientists, and that's just about every neuroscientist, from Dr. Daniel Amen, you name them, DiCarlo, DeSalvo, they all talk the same thing. It's the Mediterranean diet, right? This is not the first time you've heard that. So you get your fats from things like cold pressed virgin olive oil, avocado. You know, the grains, the multi-grains, the real grains, not just the processed kinds of things. The fruits, the vegetables, the fatty fishes for the omega-3 oils, because they deal with the radicals that go through your body. They're anti-inflammatory, basically. And that is good for your brain, and what is good for your brain is also good for your heart. Now, there are a couple of things, and this is a day too, because we're not getting pure foods unless you're really going very organic, which obviously is a way to go, but no guarantee that you're getting the full value of what you're intaking. So if you do supplements, you know, take a look. This is the time to do that, to make sure that those important, and you figure it out with somebody else. I'm not here playing doctor, but if you haven't done on supplements, think about it. But there are two things I would like you to think about in terms of supplements. There was a Nobel Peace Prize that was won by a man by the name of Dr. Louis Ignarro, Ignarro. He won it for medicine in 1998, Nobel Peace Prize with 2 associates. And it was about the discovery and utilization of nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide, the laughing gas, but nitric oxide. If you're not into it, do a little bit of study on it. I've been taking that for about 5-6 years at least now. And it was originally created for people who had issues about stroke, heart attack, oxygen not getting to those important organs. Well, when oxygen doesn't get to other organs, they fail as well. So taking it as you go to sleep at night for people at risk is really a go-to. Also, athletes, high performance athletes, and all kinds of other athletes, because if the high performance athletes use it, the others glom onto it very, very quickly. You do it before a workout. Some of you are serious exercise people, and whether you're serious or not, to get a little bit more energy, it comes from the oxygenation of your blood system. So think about that. Nitric oxide, research it a little bit, just drag it up and see if it's a right choice for you. The other was touted to me by a friend of mine who is a PhD graduate in microbiology out of MIT about 20 years ago. And John said they're doing exhaustive studies now on lecithin. Lecithin is known to be an anti-inflammatory. It's in supplements normally, but now they're studying it at about 3-4 million milligrams per day. That's not extremely high, and there's no toxicity factor, is what they have found so far. But what it does is deals with the inflammation. Eventually, if you don't die from an accident, you're going to die from inflammation. That's what keeps your heart from functioning well, and then all kinds of things happen as a result. Same thing with the brain, and the same thing with other organs. So think about those two things that I just mentioned. My number 3, again, no order of importance, is exercise. And according to most of the neuroscientists, the most important kind of exercise is aerobic. Now, weight training is important, obviously, for the tensity of the muscles and the joints and all of that. But running, they rank as number 1. Now, if you have bad knees or you just don't have the gumption for it, I get it. But get your body moving and do something that'll fog a mirror. Do something that'll make you huff and puff. And it's not just for the obvious tonality and fatigue levels. It is also because when you're doing that, your T cell count is up within your system. Your blood is consisted of plasma, red cells, and white cells. The white cells are the T cells. The T cells are what hunt and find and destroy cells that are not supposed to be there, bacteria and virus. Now, not just in a COVID world is this extremely relevant to have a higher than usual ability to fight off outside disease, but all the time it's just good business to do so. Exercise does it. And what they have found is that when you exercise, your T cells are elevated, and that's nice. But when you exercise with consistency, the T cells stay at higher levels of performance. So if you're a couch potato, stop making jokes about it. It's not cool. It's not something you're going to pass on to your friends and people around you that care about you. So do something. And get it from somebody who is smarter than me as to what would benefit you in terms of exercise, but do it. It also not just increases a lot of what I've just mentioned, but when you exercise, it stimulates the endocannabinoid system. Big word. The endocannabinoid system is your pleasure centers in your brain. And when they become stimulated, and when with exercise, and especially an aerobic kind of exercise, the density of those nerves become more compact. They become better transmitter of pleasure and joy. So people who exercise with greater consistency generally have been, I mean, not generally, have been tested to experience on various charts that do this, levels of joy in what they're doing. So think about it. If you're kind of a sad sack kind of character, it's not because of what's happening in the world. It's kind of how you're treating yourself. So do some kind of exercise that moves you. My number 4, stay in touch with people. Now, obviously, you're in real estate, you stay in touch. And I know you stay in touch with your sphere of influence because maybe there is something that's down the road in the way of a buy and a sale and a lease and who knows what. But this is a time for people to tell their stories. This is the time for people to communicate. If you haven't read the book, or if you are a reader and you haven't read the book by Haravi, the name of the book is Sapiens. He's written 2 other really, really well-researched books. It's about how mankind has evolved, or womankind if you prefer. Nonetheless, he goes through primordial sludge all the way through to today. And around the agrarian age, 15,000 years ago or so, people settle down and people pass stories on from one to the next. It is in our DNA to be able to tell stories. In real estate, you're certainly a storyteller. You're not selling a house for X amount of dollars. You're fulfilling a vision, a wish, a prayer, a feeling. And when you're talking at those levels and you're touching those feelings, the price doesn't quite matter quite as much, right? You can fudge on that. People can get a little bit more or settle for this instead of this because it satisfies them differently. My point is simply this. In the course of your day, if you're not already just making a few random calls to people you haven't spoken to in a while, just to establish conversation, think about it. By the end of March, what I decided to do is get in touch with some old high school, college, baseball buds that I used to play with and hang with. You know, through Facebook, you can find anybody. And I just didn't want to be a stalker. So I said, is it okay? How about a chat? And we laughed and we had tears rolling down our faces. And now we're buddies over these months. And it's just amazing. Don't you feel good when you do things like that? Sometimes we do it once in a while. If you do it with a consistency, your day will be so filled with good things, you won't even have time to gloat on the stuff that doesn't matter. So stay in touch as much as you can. It really kind of matters. It matters for you and it matters for people around you. I would also say, and you've heard this before, my number 5, stay in touch. Stay in touch, not stay in touch. I've said stay in touch. Learn something new. Learn something new that takes you out of your ordinary. When you're learning something new, you're stimulating portions of the brain with new blood surges. And even if it's awkward, what you're looking at, learn to dance, learn yoga. I'm not a yoga person. Learn to read faster, learn a language, learn to play the guitar, learn to play the kazoo. It doesn't matter what it is that you're learning, but there's a learning curve. So I would suggest that you get past the first week or 2 and move beyond. In fact, there's a little a method that I refer to as my 5-1-3, because lots of people would like to pick new things to think about and to do, but like there's so many things. What do I think about? What do I do? Just randomly pick up something? I'm not good at doing stuff like that. And then the story happens. Here's an idea for you. If you would like to stimulate by learning something new, write down 5 things that come to mind, that have come to mind in the past, that you've dismissed for whatever the reason. But if they came to mind and they come to mind now, capture them, write them down. It could be 7, could be 8, but write down 5 things. Select one and commit to it for 3 months. Too long? 2 months. A semester. Get online with the local, community college or otherwise. Do something. Take your yachting lessons, take your flying lessons, take your reading lessons, whatever it is. And at the end of that 2 or 3 months, you've gotten past the learning curve. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Decide whether you want to pull the plug and say, the hell with that. It's not floating my boat, or whether it's something that you can do. And if you find something that really turns you on, how great is that? Lots of people go through a life not doing things like that. So learn something new. It stimulates the brain. You create new brain cells. That's called neurogenesis, and the capacity with which they work, which is called neuroplasticity. The brain is always changing, and you have the capacity to learn into your 70s, 80s, and 90s. It is not how old you are, it is how old you think. So if you stay still, the world passes you, and you find that your DNA works against you. Move it forward and watch how stimulating the world comes to you. And there's also a little quote from Khalil Gibran from his book, The Prophet. He stands tallest who helps another up. When you learn something, you're generally on a high because you've mastered something at some level of mastery. When you then get excited enough to share it with somebody else in simple conversation, generally you're lighting a fire someplace else, and who knows where that goes. This is a world and this is a day where passing something positive forward matters. Think about it. Here's another something that's kind of interesting. 6, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Now, I paused for a moment because I know you're in real estate and you've heard that before, right? All the coaches say that, everybody. I mean, if you're not a coach, I mean, you can say that as well. But here, people generally do that at the end of the day. Put a capper on the day, go to sleep nicely. I agree with that. But here's another little something to process. They say the most important meal of the day is breakfast. And it is breakfast for this reason. You know, you have 100 billion brain cells, but you also have 100 million of them in your gut. Did you know that? Some of you did. Anyway, you've got mitochondria. You've got trillions of them processing all kinds of, you know, not just food, but also thought. In your gut, you've got 100 million brain cells. They're literally configured just like the brain cells in your head, and they are connected by the vagus nerve, VEGUS. Look it up. This is science. I'm not making this up. And where it goes to your brain is to the amygdala portion of your brain. That's the primitive portion of your brain. That's where you make gut reactions. When you have a gut feeling about something, it's because your gut reacted in milliseconds, where it takes your neocortex many more milliseconds and seconds, in fact, to process whether I like this or not. But instinctively, we already know. So starting the day with good food gives your flora in your gut an opportunity to work most efficiently, not just for your physiology, for your psychology. So my point is, if it's important what you put in your mouth to start the day, do you think it's important what you start and put into your brain to start the day? And if you have to write down, by your own standards, 4 things that you're grateful for, if you just do that easily and comfortably, you're writing things down, well, good for you. Write down 2 more, dig a little bit deeper. If you're the kind of person who is just kind of overwhelmed with the stresses and the pressures and you're learning new things, oh my God, the change that's taken place fast and furiously, my family's on my case and I gotta make dinner and I gotta do this. If you're in that particular kind of mode, think about starting the day and going through 4 things that you're grateful for. And if your brain is not complying and all you can get is negative crap, that's okay. It's what you do with that that matters. Dig through all of that crap. You know the old joke, with as much horse manure in here someplace, there has to be a pony there someplace. Nonetheless, the struggle is what makes you stronger. Not coming up with an answer necessarily, but it's like doing push-ups. When you're done, you've done 10 or 1,010 push-ups, you did a number, but the benefit came in the struggle itself, right? So think about starting your day that way. It's a nice way to go. My number 7, and I want to sum this up as quickly as I can, but eliminate the negative self-talk. When you find yourself in a negative place, just thinking about stuff, recognize you're making impressions in your brain. In order to stop doing that, as soon as you're aware that you've gone down that dark hole, take a look at a painting on the wall nearby. If you're outside, take a look at the trees and just get yourself lost for about 20 seconds in something else. A photo on the wall with you and friends. Where were you? What time of day? What were you doing? What was the funny joke that was told that made everybody laugh? When you do that and you get off into left field someplace, it breaks that train of rotten thinking. as Zig Ziglar calls it, stinking thinking. So when you catch yourself doing that, you're going to find yourself catching yourself less often because it won't happen as much. So you're changing behavior, not just putting a Band-Aid in on a broken arm. Here's my last point of the 8. Learn how to relax. And for those of you that know, what I focus on is hypnosis because it takes the best of meditation, which is relaxation and peace for peacefulness sake. And because your body is relaxed and your mind is more stilled, you become a better student. You become a better learner. And when you place in positive suggestions, and that's what a hypnosis session is, affirmations in a relaxed state of mind, you have less resistance holding you back. Oh, I'm not this. I can't make 300,000 a year. This is not the day for that. I can't talk to these people. I can't close assertively. I feel awkward. All the crap that people come up with. You weren't born that way. This is all stuff we have learned that will hold us back and get your wheels off the track. To get back on the track, recognize you got to just change that way of thinking. And hypnosis will do that as a catalyst 2 to 5 times faster than if you were just plodding along making these correctional changes, even with a coach. You got to do the work for the other 167 hours that you're not with the coach in the course of a week. I'm going to make it easy for you. I want to give you something, absolutely, with no strings attached. There's no follow-up drip system, CRM, or any of the sort of it. I want you to go to, when you get a chance, it's barryeisen.com, okay? You might have seen this in the promotional piece that came out. It was the very bottom. If you go to barryeisen.com, you'll see there's a 2-minute video of me. Yeah, I say some smart things. And then I invite you to get the 23-minute download. That's not the special part yet, but that's just where it is. So maybe if anybody can even bring that up, you can share the screen. I'm afraid of losing you if I share my screen. Nonetheless, if you go to that, you can download the 23. There are 5 ideas, and there's about a 10-minute session of hypnosis. So if you're not in our club already, you can get an experience of my version of what hypnosis is. And my version is probably fairly valid. I've worked with more people in hypnosis probably than anybody in the country. I mean, I am 76 years old. I've been doing this since 1972. So figure the arithmetic, and I do this with small and large groups and on one-on-one situations. So if you look at YouTube, millions of people have seen my stuff and, et cetera, et cetera. So enough of me. Go to that website. But on the home page, one of the headings on the top, one of the drop-down boxes is programs. Click on that. The bottommost program is about my downloads. So this will relate not to the CDs, because who uses CDs these days? Well, maybe you do. Anyway, but this is for the downloads. If you click on that, you'll come to a page of 13 downloads. Those are my titles. Those are topics. Learn self-hypnosis and this time management and goal setting and wellness and have a do it now attitude. And there's 13 titles. You can see them. Click on any and all of them if you want to, and it'll give you a little down low on what they're about. And each has information on the first chapter, on the first link. And on the second, you'll find a hypnosis session that reinforces whatever the title is. The 107 is different. If you have a sleep issue, I would suggest that you order that one. Don't order it, don't buy it. I'm not asking you to do that. Send me an email of the one that you want. And every person who is listening to me now, you're entitled to one by 5 o'clock tomorrow. So that's not like a big hurry up, but if you're really too busy to get into it today, you have tomorrow as well. Select one that you may like the most, or maybe somebody in your family would appreciate it, and send me an email that says 106 or 103 or whatever it is, or whatever, and I will simply reply and I'll put the links on there and you will get a program I think you will value. I don't do things seat in my pants. I do things out of science and research and really solid stuff. I'm not a rah motivational kind of person. I think there's a time and place for that, but I have just a different approach. And if you relate to this kind of thing of using facts to make your life better, why the hell not? So get it. It's for free. I'm not going to follow up with any kind of, you received this, this download 5 days ago, and what do you think about it? And would you consider? For those of you who have taken my program, and for those that might be intrigued by the kind of thing that I do, because I've taught seminars in your office a number of times over the years. We go back a long time, Ed and I, and a lot of the people there. Again, I don't want to get into names because I won't say somebody, and I don't want to offend anybody, because I really like you guys, because we really have been in conversation over the years. But if you're interested, that first drop-down box under programs is what I put on the internet, on my website. It's entitled the Personalized Life Skills Program. It's a seminar, and it's the text, and it is also the audio of it. It comes with a hypnosis session. But here's a kicker. It comes with a personalized hypnosis session, because it teaches you how to send me a list of goals once you've gotten into the process of learning the technique for the rest of your life. You use this stuff, not just for now. But I do a personalized hypnosis session based on a list of goals you send me. Now, some of you guys may be ready for an update on that. So if you take a look at that drop-down box, you'll see that the price was reduced originally from $299 to $139. If you guys are interested, because you're special, and I'm saying you're special because you're on this call. Some of you I know, and I know that you're special because we've had a relationship over the years. But those of you that are not, you're special because you're listening here, and thank you for doing so. If you're interested in the entire program, which is really well-rounded, business, personal, call me or send me an email. Don't buy it, because my website is not equipped to handle the $100. That's a $39 off the $139 price that you'll see there. So if you think $100 is worth the personalized session and the entire program to take on your own in the safety of your own home, and take it with the people that are around you, you can share that. I'm not worried about that at all. You know, I'm going to miss $100 here or there. It is meant to be shared. This is the time for sharing. And I hope what I've shared is valuable enough. You've got to order those things by 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's my only restriction, some little sense of urgency. So thank you for listening. For those of you that have, that's a really nice number. I appreciate it. And Renee, thank you for getting me into your schedule. I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Barry. We really appreciate all 8 of these. You know, we'll go ahead and send off the information on your website, just in case some people weren't able to write it down. But we'll get your information out there again as we did before. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there and listening, getting great information from Barry. And I just want to wish you all a wonderful week, and let me know if there's anything you need during the week. All right? Take care.